Day 6 of the Diddy trial started like any other. Reporters hustling in, whispers buzzing about what shocking reveal might come next. But no one was ready for what happened when Monique, yes, that Monique, took the witness stand. What had once seemed like a decades-old Hollywood rivalry suddenly turned into serious federal testimony. The links she laid out between Diddy, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Bishop T.D. Jakes stunned everyone into silence. Monique didn't just speak. She presented detailed timelines, receipts, audio evidence, and truths that made the courtroom sit up and pay attention like never before. For the first time, Monique was permitted to openly say under oath what she had been warning about for years. And what she revealed changed the entire perspective on this trial. The courtroom was already packed well before Day 6 began. Journalists lined the hallways, eager for the next big headline. What no one expected was Monique, the Oscar-winning actress and outspoken Hollywood critic, to walk in quietly but confidently through a side entrance. Diddy's defense team exchanged uneasy looks. Prosecutors shuffled papers with renewed intensity. The atmosphere shifted. Nobody had anticipated her as a witness, but once she took the stand, the energy in the room transformed. Diddy, wearing a dark charcoal suit, visibly tensed. He leaned toward his lawyer, whispering with a hint of confusion. Cameras weren't allowed, but courtroom sketch artists captured his slight eye twitch and tightened jaw. Cracks in his usual calm. Monique sat up straight, her voice steady from the very first word. "I was called here to tell the truth, and that's exactly what I'm going to do." For years, she'd warned about what happened behind Hollywood's velvet curtains. Stories of being blackballed by Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels were dismissed as bitterness or overreaction. But now, under oath in a federal courtroom, those warnings carried weight. The judge allowed her to read from a timeline she prepared. It detailed her personal encounters with the key figures involved in this case. Dates of meetings, phone calls, broken promises, and offers made behind closed doors, all disguised as career opportunities. Prosecutors nodded as they recognized connections to earlier testimony from Cassie Ventura. Suddenly, the trial wasn't just about Diddy anymore. Monique's second statement wasn't aimed solely at Diddy. It targeted Tyler Perry, and it hit hard. She recounted a private 2018 phone call where Perry admitted her blackballing was unfair. "He told me he was wrong," she testified. "He said he would apologize publicly, but he never did." Instead, Perry reportedly told her that apologizing would backfire on others, not ready to be exposed. When asked who, Monique looked the jury in the eye. Puff. That's who he was worried about. "Puff Daddy, Diddy, call him what you want." Gasps filled the courtroom. Even prosecutors exchanged glances. This wasn't just gossip. It suggested industry-wide cover-ups. Monique revealed Perry said he couldn't risk exposure because too many people were tied to too many NDAs. Then she presented a written transcript of a call where Perry said, "There are things going on that I can't be publicly connected to. We've all seen things at Puff's parties that we're not supposed to talk about." The judge admitted the transcript into evidence but temporarily barred the audio pending verification. What made this moment so chilling was not just the accusation, but the stark realization that multiple Hollywood heavyweights likely knew what happened at Diddy's events and stayed silent to protect their own interests. Diddy's defense objected, calling Monique's testimony speculative. The prosecution successfully argued it provided vital context on how silence and reputation management shielded Diddy for years, possibly enabling abuse. Then came the jaw-dropping moment. Monique took a breath, adjusted her microphone, and said words that would dominate headlines by nightfall. "I've been to one of Diddy's parties. I left because I saw something I wasn't meant to see." She testified that in 2006, she was invited to a private Los Angeles event through a fellow actor, described as an exclusive networking opportunity. Monique arrived at a sprawling Hollywood Hills estate. Valets took her phone, and she was led inside to an atmosphere of candles, soft R&B music, and a steady stream of male and female guests being ushered into private back rooms. "I remember a woman in heels and a man wearing nothing but a bathrobe," she said. She recalled one of Diddy's assistants telling her, "It's all about experience here. You're safe if you sign the NDA. That was when she walked out. She refused to sign, never returned. Afterward, the whispers began. Monique's calls for major roles stopped. Film festival invites dried up. A producer labeled her difficult, but she never forgot that night and suspected her exit made her a liability. When asked if this was common at Diddy's events, she nodded. I think it was all orchestrated like a system. When I refused to play along, I was cut out. Her testimony mirrored descriptions from Cassie Ventura and others about candlelit rooms, camera setups, hired escorts, and luxury hotels disguised as networking spaces. What set Monique apart was her perspective. A respected actress, not a subordinate, who walked in on her own terms and left with her career slowly crumbling behind her. When asked if she believed Tyler Perry actively helped protect Diddy's image, she didn't hesitate. Yes, I believe it was strategic, coordinated, part of a bigger plan to keep things quiet. She referenced a now famous viral moment. Tyler Perry walking into Bishop T.D. Jakes' megachurch and writing $1 million check in front of the congregation. People saw it as a blessing, she said, but I saw a transaction. That donation wasn't charity, it was damage control. The church is a shield. People like Diddy use it to build alliances that make them untouchable. Murmurs filled the courtroom. Even the judge looked up, watching jury members scribble notes. Monique testified that around the time of Perry's church donation, rumors about Diddy and his parties quietly disappeared from gossip blogs. I knew then people were being paid, influenced, silenced, she said. That $1 million wasn't just for Jakes, it was for peace, for silence. The prosecution presented photos of Diddy and Harry Styles appearing together weeks later at a BET event, smiling warmly as if the scandal didn't exist. It painted a picture supporting Monique's claim. Hollywood didn't just protect Diddy, they elevated him. She paused, looking directly at the judge. I'm not afraid of being blackballed anymore. I've lived it. Silence is the most expensive price we all pay, and we've all paid it. The courtroom fell silent. Monique pulled a printed transcript from her bag, the recording where Tyler Perry admitted he was wrong. Gasps and whispers spread. For years, she'd claimed Perry privately apologized after the fallout from Precious. Now she had proof. I recorded the call, she said. He knew. He said he was okay with it. She handed the papers to the bailiff, who gave them to the judge. The judge scanned the top lines and nodded for prosecution to proceed. In the transcript, Perry reportedly said, I know I messed up. You were never difficult. You just didn't want to work for free. I should have said that publicly. Then he allegedly said, but I can't go public. Puff's name is tied up in too much right now. Prosecutors use this to explain how Hollywood elites, even those with squeaky clean reputations, feared the fallout if Diddy's secrets came out. He told me, Monique added, if Puff falls, a lot of people go with him. Those who fund movies, those who sign checks. Her testimony supported hints from former bodyguard John Deal and Christian Keys. Diddy's network wasn't just personal, it was institutional. Monique's voice grew emotional. He had a chance to clear my name. He didn't, because he was protecting something bigger, something darker than anyone wants to admit. The judge ruled the transcript admissible, a major win for prosecution. Diddy's lawyers looked shaken. A friendly phone call had just become federal evidence. Then Monique dropped a name never mentioned before in the trial, but causing waves. Oprah Winfrey. She didn't bring Oprah up lightly. In 2010, Monique said, I told Oprah something personal, that I'd been abused as a child by my brother. She promised not to exploit that, but she did. She put my brother on her show right after I declined the Precious Press tour. The courtroom was unsure how to react. It was heavy, emotional. She betrayed me, Monique said. When I asked why, she said it was business. But I knew the truth. They wanted to silence me. She connected Oprah, Perry, and Diddy through their shared use of NDAs, PR crisis teams, and handlers. They all have the same people cleaning up messes, she testified. She handed over a redacted email chain showing her name, Puff's, and Tyler's in the subject line, about managing public perception. The judge took the email under review. The message was clear. The power structure wasn't just protecting Diddy, it was coordinated. People signed NDAs. Careers were made or destroyed depending on compliance. Monique called it what it was, a silence machine built to crush anyone who asked questions. The jury watched as she closed her binder. voice steady, unshaken. She wasn't just telling her story anymore. She was testifying. After a short recess, she surprised everyone. She calmly said, "Now let's talk about the list." Silence fell again. The prosecution leaned in. "There's a list in Hollywood. It's not written down, but everyone knows it. It's the list of people you don't cross, the untouchables. Puff's on that list. Tyler's on it. Oprah practically created it." She explained this list wasn't a document, but an invisible boundary. The moment you criticized anyone on it, even with proof, you were labeled difficult, crazy, or worse, dangerous to the industry. Monique said she found herself on the wrong side of that line in 2010 and has been fighting back ever since. She named no accusations, only context. "Don't you think it's strange?" she said. "How many people worked with Diddy, Tyler, and Oprah, then disappeared?" She cited actors with one hit show or one buzzworthy season who suddenly vanished. Some refused to play the game. Some said no. Then she lowered her voice. And some of them saw things they were never meant to see. The court allowed her to read a short statement from a former actor, name redacted for protection. The statement described a retreat hosted by a powerful male filmmaker where phones were confiscated, contracts signed, and strange rituals observed. Monique didn't say it was Tyler Perry, but didn't deny the suggestion. She left the jury to feel the weight of it. The judge reminded all these were allegations. But Monique's message was clear. The industry protects secrets, not art. And the cost of speaking out? They take your career, your reputation, your peace, and leave you wondering why your phone never rings again. When asked if Diddy played a role in ruining her career, Monique nodded. At first no, but eventually yes. She explained that after the precious fallout and blackballing, she got a call from a junior executive at Revolt TV, Diddy's media company. He told her, quote, "You rubbed the wrong people. It's not just Tyler and Oprah. Puff doesn't like noise either." The court leaned forward. Monique said the executive hinted Perry's team approached Diddy for future projects. The deal was access to Puff's platforms, and she was the obstacle. She said Perry and Diddy met behind closed doors multiple times. She later learned about these meetings through contacts. They discussed her not as talent, but as a problem. Prosecution presented emails from a PR firm hired by both Revolt and Tyler Perry Studios. The emails discussed managing narratives around Monique and Cassie Ventura. For the first time, the court saw a direct digital link controlling both women's reputations in tandem. That hit hard. Monique continued, saying the difficult label was intentionally spread. They use it like a virus. Infect one casting director, and it spreads. Soon your name comes up, and they already have a reason to say no. Then she said something rarely heard under oath in Hollywood. "I wasn't blackballed. I was whiteballed by black people. People who look like me. People who feared losing their own spot more than doing what's right." Monique paused, voice steady but weary. "I didn't want to be here, but I had to. Because what they did to me, to Cassie, what they're doing to young women and men now, it won't stop unless someone speaks louder than they do." She explained the prosecution contacted her 2 months earlier. At first, she refused. "I wasn't going to relive it. I wasn't going to expose my family, my trauma, my pain again." But then she saw the Prince recording. She saw Diddy shouting in court. She saw Cassie break down on the stand. That's when she broke. Monique called her decision to testify a spiritual awakening. "I heard my grandmother's voice say, 'Baby, don't let them write your story without you in the room.'" She knew she had to come. Her final minutes on the stand were devastating. When asked the root cause of the silence system, Monique answered, "Fear." Everyone in this industry is scared. Scared to lose jobs, deals, relevance. Scared to tell the truth. Because people like Puff, Tyler, and yes, Oprah, they've made speaking out very expensive. She looked at Diddy and quietly said, "You thought no one would talk. You built an empire strong enough to silence everyone, but now you sit in silence, and I hope you finally hear us." As she stepped down, reporters described Diddy as visibly shaken. His hands trembled. His attorney whispered fiercely. The courtroom didn't erupt in noise, but in energy. It was the moment the tide turned. Monique, blackballed for over a decade, had become the most powerful voice in the trial. For days, the courtroom had been tense, but no one expected what happened next. When Monique locked eyes with the defense and whispered the name never said aloud before in 5 days, Tyler Perry. It wasn't a scream or dramatic outburst. It was quiet, controlled, like someone finally pulling a loaded weapon from a locked drawer. Want to talk power? Want to talk silence? Ask Mr. Perry why I was blackballed after refusing to work for free. Then look who stood by him at every event. Gasps echoed. At first, confusion. Tyler Perry wasn't on trial. His name wasn't in the indictment. But Monique's implication wasn't legal. It was cultural. It was about the system. Who protected whom? He never helped me, she said. But he made calls so no one else would either. Ask producers, ask agents, ask Lee Daniels. I've got the call logs. She held up a folder not yet admitted into evidence. The defense objected immediately, but it was too late. The jury heard it. A major Hollywood name. Someone many thought untouchable. Monique went on. I know who was at the parties. I know which NDAS were enforced. I saw people sign them in front of me. I was told not to speak. And when I did, my work dried up. I was told, be grateful. You're lucky to be here. Then she said something that stunned even the prosecution. I have audio of a call where Tyler apologized. He admitted he was wrong, but refused to go public. He said it would ruin everything. She stared straight ahead. I'm done protecting men who never protected me. That statement hit harder than any exhibit. This wasn't just about Diddy anymore. It was about the entire power structure enabling him. Monique wasn't just accusing Diddy. She was calling out Hollywood itself. For the first time, jurors looked beyond the man in the defendant's chair. They looked at everyone who helped him.